Welcome to the Marketing Mastery Podcast, built for financial advisors who want more clients, more impact, more growth. If you're tired of the fluff, the guesswork, and those cookie-cutter marketing tactics that never deliver, you're in the right place. This is where real advisors learn what really works. Proven strategies, powerful insights, and action steps you can use right now to fill your calendar and grow your business with confidence. Let's dive in. First, we have our Ask the Marketing Mastery Coach segment. You've got questions. We have laser-focused, no BS answers. We're tackling real marketing issues that financial advisors are facing right now. And of course, how to fix them fast. Second, we have our Marketing Mastery University segment. Are you sitting on a gold mine of untapped opportunity inside your CRM? In this episode, I'll be breaking down the power of the Database Marketing Mastery Blueprint. Part 2, we did part 1 in the last one. What are the 5 systems top financial advisors use to turn their existing relationships into consistent revenue? If you're ready to transform your database into a marketing machine that works for you, this episode is your blueprint. Don't go anywhere. The show starts right now.
Welcome to the Advisor Marketing Mastery Podcast with Mark E. Gaffney. This podcast is your front row seat to the proven frameworks, strategies, and the insights that have propelled thousands of financial professionals to the top of their field since 2003. The show starts right now.
Welcome to Ask the Marketing Mastery Coach, the Q&A segment where elite financial advisors like you send in your most pressing questions, and I give you direct, actionable answers to help you market smarter, grow faster, and break through your next ceiling. If you're ready to get clarity, crush confusion, and convert more, let's jump in right now. All right, I got some great questions this week. My first one is from Jonathan in Charlotte, and he writes, "Hey, Mark, I'm running dinner seminars, but I'm not getting enough appointments. How can I make my seminars more effective and get more people to book with me?" Okay, Jonathan, let's talk about what's really going on here. And 2 things immediately come to mind for me. The first one is the main thing that we do at a seminar to garner appointments is not your content. And I think a lot of advisors are very concerned with the content piece, and they forget about the importance of creating rapport and establishing trust and credibility in the first 8, 10, 12 minutes of the seminar. And I'm going to go into that right now. And I want to talk about, I love Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins, arguably the best in the business, whether you like him or not. He has 4 points of a great sales presentation. Number 1 is create rapport and establish trust in the beginning. And of 100% of your presentation, 35%, fully 1/3 of your presentation is going to be about creating rapport and establishing trust. And we can do that through a number of different methods. We can tell a story, we can play video. And I'm going to tell you, the longer I'm in this business, the more I realize those advisors who know how to tell their story simply convert more people that night, households buying units, into appointments for the office. And they don't just tell their origin story, they tell a conversion story. And it's one of my favorite things that I like to teach advisors, okay? There are 3 elements of that. Element number 1 is, how did you get into the business? Element 2, why do you do what you do? And 3 is family. Why family? Well, what happens every political cycle? We see the politicians parading around with their families. Why? Because they know they get an uptick in the polls when America sees them with their family. Okay, so that's part 1. The second part of this for me is you're not getting affirmation through the presentation of the pain points and the holes in their current retirement plan, okay, their portfolio. So I actually brought my seminar folder, okay? This is something that I can teach you to do, but we're big advocates. And by the way, I do seminars. I don't just tell advisors best practices for doing seminars. I do them myself. So I'm going to show you 2 things right now that I think are imperative to getting appointments. Let me start with the easier one first, and that is the workbook, okay? Every advisor should have a workbook inside, okay, very simple, to follow along, right? What's the dynamic in the room? The dynamic in the room is teacher-student, proctor-student, professor-student. How do we learn? We learn by taking notes. So you're speaking and you tell people, write this down. So in your workbook, let's say you're doing income for life, taxes, estate planning, Social Security. You're going to have an independent page for each one of those, and you're going to tell people, okay, for if income for life, I want you to write down the following. If you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan. Income is the outcome. Let me repeat that. If you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan. See what I'm doing? Holes in their portfolio. How many people have you seen that have come in with an actual written marketing plan? 1%, 2%, 3%. You get them to write that down, and they affirm with their own hand that they could potentially have an issue with their retirement. So you do that through your presentation with all the different topics. Part one. Now, the great thing about this is if they check yes, they're going to come into the office and say, hey, that thing you talked about income for life, that's what my wife and I want. All right, the second piece for me, which is probably more important, is your response sheet. Okay, for me, this is the small hinge that swings the big door. Okay, so I just did income for life, right? And through my presentation, I had them write down 3 or 4 items about income for life, okay? Then when I've ended that particular part of my seminar, I say, all right, everyone, get your response sheet out. I think one of the biggest problems advisors have is they tell everyone to take their response sheet out at the end, and that's too late. So I finished one of my 4 pillars, which is income for life. Then I say, okay, take out your response sheet and your pen right now. Go to the income for life area and check off any of these boxes that are appropriate for you. And I'm literally going to stop and I'm going to go line item by line item through each box and tell them to check it off. Ready? Check it off so we can help you when you come into the office. I'm using affirmative language, assumptive language, okay, that they are in fact coming into the office. I'm not going to wait till the end. Here's the goal. At the end of the presentation, they probably checked off 6, 8, 10, 12 boxes of things that they need help with, that they don't have in their retirement plan, okay, that are pain points potentially for them. If they've done that, then why aren't they going to check yes for an appointment with you? One reason. One reason. You didn't gain rapport and establish trust and credibility in the beginning. You establish trust, credibility in the beginning. You get them to check off and affirm all these areas they need help with. They are going to sign up for an appointment. It is a funnel sale. I'll step back. A funnel sale. And this little box at the bottom of the funnel sale says, it's counterintuitive for me to say no to an appointment. All right, I hope that helps, Jonathan. I gave you a whole lot of information on that, but it is crucial in your seminars to get it right. Okay, the next one I have here is from Melissa in Scottsdale. Hey, Melissa. She writes, hi, Mark. My seminar attendance has dropped, and the people who do show up aren't ideal clients. What can I do to bring in better prospects? Okay, good point, Melissa. There are, I think, a few simple adjustments here that can dramatically improve your audience quality. But let me start with this. I think the bigger problem is low attendance, okay? Because I like to use what's called the volume model, and I go outside of my parameters that I normally use. If someone is having attendance issues, and then we tighten it up during the course of the year. So in the beginning, if I'm a fishing trawler, I want to have the biggest possible nets thrown over the side, scoop in the most amount of fish, because it's a lot easier to throw fish back into the ocean than I don't have enough fish on deck. Okay, so the first piece for me, there's a bunch of pieces of that. Change my data, change my invite, mail more, all those things. Now, I'm going to bring up something really special, hot off the press, not introduced to the general public yet. I have put together a program. I'm still waiting for the green light. I'll have it no later than Jan 1, okay, of 2026, of I'm doing a strategic partnership with the biggest mail house in the country with the best data to make sure that we fill your rooms. We're going to guarantee it. We're going to guarantee RSVPs. You're never going to have this problem again. I have this study right here. In fact, I'm not giving this away right now because I don't give away stuff. But if you want to set up a 15-minute Zoom with me, I'll go over it top to bottom with you because maybe it's right for you, maybe it isn't. Let me read you some of the results on here. We've done 8 beta tests on this. All of them have had a 1% response rate or higher. The lowest one was 0.93. We've had 2 of them that are over 2% and 1 of them over 3%. Listen, results like this haven't happened in decades. We're taking all the best practices, putting them together for you so that you fill your rooms on a regular basis. Let me go further. These folks had waiting lists, set up rollover nights, expanded their rooms. This is the way to go. Okay, I've thought about this for years. I finally found the right mail house to do this with, so you never have low attendance again. Get with me, markedwardgaffney.com. Set up an appointment, 15 minutes. I'll go over all of this with you. All right, Melissa, I hope that helps you. Okay, and I look forward to speaking with you. All right, my next question is from Charles in Pittsburgh. What's up, Charles? Hi, Mark. I'm hosting webinars, but most people just watch and leave. How do I get more of them to actually schedule a meeting with me? Okay, I love this question because for me, webinars are a must arrow in the quiver. This is potentially the lowest investment, highest return marketing that we can do. Now, here's the issue as I see it. Most advisors have done a live event somewhere along the lines, and they're using the same best practices from their live event on their webinar. And though some of those things are a carryover, there's a whole different set of best practices. So I put 11 of them together here. I'm not going to have time to get into all of them, but I am going to get into it with you. And I kind of equate this to an actor who moves from the big screen movies to the little screen television. It is a different type of acting that takes place, and they need to understand that because using one in the other makes it very ineffective. So let me go through a few of these things with you right now. Number 1 for me is proper positioning. Let me explain that. When I go to a live event, I have gotten in my car, driven somewhere. I have a captive audience. Barring me doing something insanely offensive, they're going to stay, okay, until the end. You don't have that luxury with a webinar. They click in anonymously and they can click out anonymously. So like a highway billboard, you have 2 to 6 seconds in the beginning to garner their interest. So we do something called a sizzle slide. Okay, so if your webinar's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people are in there, they're waiting 2 o'clock, you get started. The first thing that pops up is a bio slide of you and a great headshot. And then we have some thumping music and a professional voiceover artist talking about all the things that are great about you. Okay, how long you've been in business, the article you wrote in Forbes, your appearance on ABC, NBC, Fox, whatever they are. And when that ends, it ends with great music. It says, and welcome your webinar presenter, John Smith. And then John pops up, okay, and gets started with a big smile and everything's off to the races. We usually have those at about 30 seconds, but you set the tone for your webinar as a pro, an expert, authority, and celebrity. So people know, hey, this could be exciting. I want to hear what this person is all about. Number 2 for me is I've seen the snoozes out there, okay? And I'm going to talk about this twofold. Number 1 is if you're going to take a boring topic, people aren't going to want to stay. If there's lots of graphs and charts, see, you're already disconnected right now. You've already disconnected. So I need to find things that are exciting. And you, in that little box, let me tell you what that little box does. It dulls you down. Okay, so you've got to be aware of that. Now, the way I'm talking to you here isn't the way I would talk to somebody in a conference room because I'd scare the you-know-what out of them. But in that little box, I'm using my hands, I'm using my facial expressions, I'm changing my tone, I'm giving them a reason to stay there, okay, through enthusiasm and conviction on the topic that I'm talking about. Next for me is the platform. Too many people are using Zoom. Zoom is not a sales platform. It is a conference platform. The one that we suggest is Webinar Jam. I don't have enough time to get into all of the great things about Webinar Jam. I have used it now for probably 5+ years. I do webinars every week. I love it. It is set up for a sales presentation. Number 3, you got to ask for the appointment, Charles. And you ask for the appointment early and often. So as soon as my sizzle slide goes down, I pop up, the agenda pops up. The next slide, my third slide is, hey, if you'd like to set up an appointment, and here's how I do it. It's got a pop-up. It's got a QR code in it, but I also have a banner you can click in there as well. So I'll say, hey, I know everyone probably can't stay. I'm going to go about 22 minutes today, but if you've heard something that you liked, go ahead and click the banner or use the QR code. That takes you directly to my Calendly. Listen, this is all about getting your questions answered. It's complimentary. It's low stress. It's no pressure. Just get your questions answered. You see what I did there? I lowered my tone. I made it very inviting because normally I'm more high energy, but I'm not going to high energy the pitch for an appointment. Even in a 20-minute seminar, I'm doing this 3 times, maybe 4 times in the course of that webinar. Okay, the next one for me is you got to change your voice here and there, okay? I've seen webinars where people are talking like this the entire time, and you know what? You're already tuned out, right? Slow down. Use the pregnant pause. When something's really important, show people that you're really excited about it. I know this is kind of weird at first, but that little box is going to dull you down. Believe me, I've seen these webinars where all I want is a pillow and a blanket, okay? And the reason that I'm there is I'm either doing an audit for one of my clients or it is a topic that I wanted to know more information about. Okay, the next thing for me is practice, right? I think a lot of times advisors put their slide deck together, they don't practice, and then they just go out there and essentially it might be some new material, okay? And because you didn't practice it, everyone who's watching knows, and you know what you've lost? Authenticity. Authenticity sells. When people see that you are no longer authentic, they ain't buying from you. Okay, so what I suggest to folks is really 2 things. 1, if you do live events, seminars, college classes, whatever, have your first few webinars with slides that you're already familiar with from that live event. You're already familiar with it, so you can get all the kinks out. The second piece is I don't invest a lot of money right away into the general public. I do them with my database first. I want to get 4, 5, 6 of these under my belt before I start investing money to the general public with my webinars. Okay, you got to use exciting topics. Okay, I did one audit for a client. It was long-term care, and I'm telling you, it was morose. It was maudlin. It was painful, but I stayed on the entire time and took notes for the audit of it. But I would be shocked if half of the people stayed on to the end. Subsequently, or I should say the antithesis of that is I have another advisor that just did one on crypto. He said, Mark, it was my best attended one I ever did. Why? Because that's a hot topic and people don't know about it. There's a lot of great topics out there that are hot and relevant right now that people want to hear about. An exciting topic gets people registered and tuned in for the entire webinar so you can get new appointments. Okay. And then the last piece, well, there's 2 more, is you got to smile talk. This is completely unnatural. I'm smile talking, right? It seems like, okay, I'm used to it. I'm used to doing it, but people love a smile. My crew right now is smiling that I'm doing smiling talk, okay? If you can do this, just so you know, if you were here on my side right now, I literally have a Post-it on the camera that says, smile. I always want to remind myself that smiles are very compelling to the audience. You want to get appointments? Smile talk through when you're telling people information because you're so happy to be there and help them out. Okay, last piece to my puzzle here. This is extremely big for me. You can't do 1 hour. You can't do 30 minutes. You've got to keep these around 12, 15, 18 minutes to get started. That means 5, 6, 7 slides. That's it. Get started with that, okay? Unless you're really good, you are not going to keep people tuned in for 30 minutes, God forbid 45 minutes to an hour. They're out, or they're leaving you on in the background and they're doing something else. How are you going to get an appointment out of that? You're not. And here's the number one takeaway. I hope you have a pen with you right now. You set people up for not a 1 hour meeting with you, not a 45 minute, not a 30 minute. Best practices is go to my Calendly and set up a 15-minute intro call with me. 15 minutes. That's it. Try that. See how many more people you get on board. Charles, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate the question. Hey, today's episode is being brought to you by MEG, where marketing mastery meets elite advisor success. Since 2013, we've helped thousands of financial advisors break through and hit their biggest production and revenue goals ever with precision-targeted marketing, high-converting advertising, and expert consulting. Whether you're running seminars, hosting webinars, looking to dominate on TV, radio, or you just finally want to get your marketing dialed in, MEG does it all. We're a full-service agency built specifically for financial advisors who are ready to stop dabbling in marketing and start dominating with it. Here's the part you don't want to miss. I'm inviting you to a 15-minute intro Zoom with me personally. Me, not a team member, not somebody else, me. We call it the $1 Million Zoom because it's packed with the kind of insights that can shift the trajectory of your business fast. No pressure, no obligation, 100% complimentary. It's just 15 minutes. You'll see exactly how we can bring all your marketing under one roof, tailor it to your brand, and drive real results. Just head over to markedwardgaffney.com. That's markedwardgaffney.com and grab your spot now. MEG, your all-in-one marketing powerhouse. All right, back to the show. All right, my next question is from Charles in Scranton, PA. What's up, Charles? Hi, Mark. My clients say they're happy to refer me, but they rarely do. How can I set up a referral program that actually works? I got to tell you, I've been in this business for a long time, and I find that there is this great mystery about referrals. So I want to talk about referrals for a moment. There's two ways that we obtain referrals. One is organically, okay? There's no prompting involved. The timing was just right in somebody's life to refer you. The way they referred it works, which means those people found you and they came in. Fantastic. But the bigger part of this is that we need to train our clients to become ambassadors for us. And I think the notion that, oh, well, you know, if they like me, they'll refer me. But think about how awkward that is, okay? That this is just going to naturally, organically happen and it's going to go to perfection. Because if that was the case and you were worth your weight in salt, you'd have referrals every week piling up all the time. And maybe you do. So for me, part of the training that takes place here is establishing a culture in the office. And that entire culture is based around a deliverable. What do I mean? So we decide on what the ambassador program is going to be. We do a kickoff for it. We mail out to everyone all the pieces of that. But what it comes down to at the end of the day is face-to-face contact with you and your new client or your long-standing client, and you have a little chat, okay? And you're going to put a deliverable in their hands. We call it the MEG Wow Box that they can give to a friend, family worker, a family, coworker, or neighbor. So I have a couple of examples here, okay, that I'm going to bring up. They're different price points, but there's really essentially three ways that you can do this. We have this very light portfolio. We have a heavier portfolio, and we have the box, okay? The box is going to be logoed with all your information on it. Inside the box, we have a bunch of different items here, okay? Basically, it's a shock and awe kit that makes you out to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, okay, about you and your company. But really, the key piece here, and you're going to have a book, if you have a book like this particular company does. So it's shock and awe folder, book. And by the way, if you don't have a book, you can use a different retirement book. I've had some, they throw their own bookmark in it. I've had some put some notes in there, okay? But this is the key part. We want to take the complexity out of this. So when they hand this over, to a friend, family, coworker, neighbor. It is a first step letter, and it makes it really easy. And across the top, it says, it's time to help ensure your retirement plan is on track to take you where you want to go. We'll help you build and enjoy the best retirement possible. The first step to your success starts with reading this letter. Short, sweet, couple of paragraphs, tells them everything that's in there and what they need to do. They don't even have to read. They can contact you right from here. This has been well thought out. Now, the way that we use this, okay, is that we make up a bunch of them, at least 100, and you're going to hand them out face to face. You can do it at an event, okay, but it's face to face. You can do it at annual review. You can do it at contract delivery, wherever you want to do it. But it's got to go with a pitch. You can't mail these. They don't work via the mail. And here's the pitch. It's really simple, okay? It goes like this. John and Mary, I don't know if you know this or not, but 38% of our business last year came from great people like you, referring their friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors. God, if I could only clone you guys 100 times over. Hey, listen, if we can ever help somebody that you know and do the things for them like we helped you guys, would you hand them one of these boxes? Zip! And you hold the box out until they take it. And what we love is when they say, hey, Mark, can I get 2 of those? And you say, you absolutely can. Has to be done face to face. Now they have this box. May keep it in the trunk, put it on their desk in the kitchen, who knows? But they don't throw this out. This is not a round file item. At some point, listen. Your clients 50 plus, certainly 55 years of age plus, are going to have a conversation in the next 12 months about financial planning and or retirement planning with a friend, family member, coworker, neighbor. What if they were all set with this? Instead of saying, yeah, my guy's John Smith at ABC Financial. If you Google it, they're on Elm Street. If John's not there, there's a lot of friendly people. Just set up an appointment. How awkward is that? That's why I say we have to teach our clients how to refer us. Instead, now all they have to do is, my guy's John Smith at ABC Financial. Everything you need to know about him is right in this box. He's great. I love him. You'll get a ton of information in here. Wow! Did we get set up great on that? Were we positioned well on that? Listen to me. You get these. They come back into the office. You get referrals. All right, Charles, I hope that was helpful. And listen, set up a 15-minute call with me. I'll go over all the details with you and to see if it's right for you. Okay, my next question is from Anthony in Portland. Anthony, what's up? Hi, Mark. I want to try radio ads, but I'm not sure what to say. What makes a radio ad actually work for advisors? Now, you guys know me. I have been told by some that I am verbose, that I speak too much. So I'm going to make this one very clear and ultra short. Anthony, do not do radio ads. I'm going to tell you why. The party is full. You will be competing against air personalities that have been on there 5, 10, 15 years or longer. They own it. There's no way you're going to break in and get traction. None. Now, here's what probably happened. You have a radio rep that's been hounding you for months, maybe years, to just hear me out. And they come in and, oh my gosh, that slide deck is beautiful. Look at all this data. Look how many people listen every day all over the place. It looks great. You ain't going to get traction. That party is full. If you have marketing dollars, Anthony, listen to me. Radio today is only for those people that have been in the game for a long time. If you haven't, no radio. Hope I saved you tens of thousands of dollars on that. Okay, my next question is from Mark in Boise, Idaho. Mark, what's up? I won't forget that name, obviously. Hi, Mark. There are so many marketing options that I feel overwhelmed. How do I build a simple marketing plan that actually works? Sometimes I don't even kind of know where to start on here, but let's keep it simple. Break down something clean and easy to follow. For me, I would want to know what you're doing right now, because I'm going to make up a number. You're a $12 million advisor. What do I mean by that? I'm going to assume you're duly licensed. You do 6 million of insurance products, annuity and life. You do 6 million of managed money, AUM. Okay. And you want to get to the 20 million. I'll just set up this scenario. I don't know your scenario. And you want to know, what can I do to get there? So for me, it's sort of breaking it down to the rule of three. What is the rule of three? I've said many a time on my podcast about a study that we did over COVID where we looked at all of our clients over 50 million to see if they had any metrics, data points, analytics that I could share with other advisors, okay, to help them grow their business. And we did. We found one ubiquitous metric, and it was this. All of those advisory firms, bar none, did 85% plus, in some cases 90, 92, 94% of all of their production assets gathered through 3 funnels. 3. I go into firms at 12 million and I see they have 5 or 6 funnels. And I'm like, let's narrow this down. See, I took a big breath. I don't want to say anything negative. You don't have the budget. You don't have the manpower, the bandwidth, okay, to do 6 funnels well. 3. So I would say to you, what are the 3 funnels for next year that are going to be your number 1 revenue producer, your number 2, and your number 3 based on the previous year? If you don't have that, then we need to find it. Now, I don't know what you're doing, okay, but I will tell you this. Your FMO, your IMO, your BD, your RIA, okay, they might have some way to help you with this. Here's what we do for our clients. We have a full discovery here. We call it the MEG marketing checklist. This bad boy I've used for over 10 years to assess where prospects are in their marketing journey. Okay. If you look at it, it's literally boxes on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. And what we do is we analyze 12 different core marketing areas of any advisory firm. And listen to me right now. Every firm will fit into these 12 core marketing areas, scale of 1 to 5. Then we go over it with you. And we can truly assess from that, what is your number 1, your number 2, and your number 3 marketing funnel that are going to help you get where you need to go. If this is appealing to you, you know what to do. MarkEdwardGaffney.com, set up a 15-minute. I'll go through this with you and we'll set up a discovery call, which usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And listen to me. You will have a brand new idea on what's going to get you, in this case, from 12 million to 20 million. All right. My next question is from Daniel in Louisville, Kentucky. I love Louisville, Kentucky, by the way. I lived there for 3 years. Hi, Mark. I want my client experience to help generate more referrals. What are some easy ways to improve it? I love this question because you get it. The way that we get referrals is by delivering a client experience. And I've got a whole slide on this, okay? And I've got white papers on this that I'm going to talk about. And by the way, set up a 15-minute. I'll give these to you, but I don't give them away just for an email. And you shouldn't either. I see a lot of advisors giving away white papers if someone puts their email in. 2 types of marketing out there. I'm going to go off on a tangent here for a moment because that's what I do. There's hunter marketing and there's farmer marketing. I'd make an argument that every company needs to do both. At MEG, we're hunter marketers. That means all of our marketing drives 2 things: an RSVP to a live or virtual event, an office appointment, live or virtual. I don't do this, give away the white paper, put you in our, CRM, drip on you, and maybe you'll pop. My calendar's so stacked with appointments now. Why am I doing that? Right? I want to meet with people now while they're hot. When they're hot, that's the time to meet with them. So let me go through creating this experience. 2 things I want to point out here. If I have an advisor that does an average job, but you know what? Their clients love them. They do all the right things to make their clients feel loved, appreciated, they're grateful, they show it through their actions, and whether that's client events or things they put in the mail, tchotchkes, all these nice things, beautiful phone calls, videos, as opposed to an advisor, and by the way, this is a hyperbolic example, an advisor that does an above average job, but they're a little on the cranky side, or the staff isn't so nice, or the office isn't so nice, but they've done an above average job as far as returns for a long time. Who do you think is the more referable advisor? I would make a very strong argument that advisor one is vastly more referable. Not a little bit more, vastly more referable. So what are you doing to create that experience? And at MEG, we call it the VIP Ritz-Carlton Client Family Experience. If you can set that up in your office, and there's a lot of ways to do that. And by the way, I spent a lot of time putting together these white papers to show advisors all the things that they need to do to set up that culture in their office. And that culture provides a great experience for their clients. And they get tons of organic referrals because their clients love them. Love them. And you know what happens when you get tons of referrals? Over 50% of your revenue that you generate comes from your database. Low investment, high return. What does that do to the margins on your P&L? Oh, yes. Those margins go up. So set up that culture. Couple things that we want to keep in mind. It's a one-year proposition to leverage the relationships and get that culture going in the office with your clients and your team. I need buy-in from both. Okay, it's all about relationship marketing. And I had a client of mine goes, I don't like that term, relationship marketing. And I said, all right, what do you want to call it? He said, let me tell you what we call it in our office. And I'm all ears. He says, here we call it love affair marketing. We make sure that we have a love affair with all of our clients. And I'm like, oh, I love that. I need to steal that. And I need to update my materials to say love affair marketing rather than relationship marketing. One is dating, the other is marriage, okay? Go ahead and marry your clients. Marry them. Have a beautiful love affair with them. Okay, 6 ways that we can engage with our clients through the year. Face-to-face, video, phone, mailbox, email, digital, social media. And what we recommend is putting 100 touches, yes, 100, 2 per week, through those 6 methods on your clients. Done properly, they'll never leave you, and they will refer more and more people. If you want more information about that, gosh, we'd love to send that to you. Hey, got a question you'd like to feature on the show? Go to our website, markedwardgaffney.com, or DM us on LinkedIn. By the way, all questions will get answered whether they're on the show or not, and we answer them fast. And remember, you're just one smart strategy away from your next breakthrough. This episode was powered by MEG. When you're ready to grow with confidence, we're here to help you dominate your market. Until next time, keep mastering your marketing. Welcome to Marketing Mastery University. Today, we're diving into one of the most overlooked but most powerful assets in your entire business, and that's your database. And today, we're doing part 2. On the last podcast, we discussed why is a formal referral strategy essential, because hoping for referrals, man, that ain't a strategy, but creating a system that consistently generates them is. In this episode, we're going to unpack what I call database management mastery, the balance, the framework that turns your existing relationship into consistent growth. We'll cover how to capture dollars between reviews by identifying those life events and money in motion moments that often go unnoticed if you're not staying connected. How to nurture your prospects, turning cold leads into warm conversations and warm conversations into lifelong clients through thoughtful, automated touches. And finally, how to manage your lead flow, keeping your pipeline organized, prioritized, and consistently producing new opportunities without letting anything slip through the cracks. So if you've ever felt like you're sitting on a gold mine of untapped opportunity inside your own CRM, man, you're in the right place. Stick around. By the end of today's episode, you'll have a roadmap to transform your database into a marketing machine that works for you, not the other way around. Class is in session. Okay, I break it down. I've worked with so many advisors, literally thousands through the years. Okay, 31 years in marketing, 23 years working with financial professionals. And there are two main marketing funnels that all elite advisors have. One of them is live events, college classes, dinner seminars, heck, Social Security seminars at the local community center. That's new blood. That's general public marketing. The second one, and by the way, is more important to your business, is working your database. And the advisors that I have, particularly at the 50 million plus, 75 million, 100 million of assets gathered in a calendar year advisory firms, have learned to master their database, okay, in those 5 areas that I just spoke of. Not only have they learned to master them, they've got them into an autopilot situation where referrals just keep coming in, prospects out of the database keep popping because they've developed systems that are scalable, repeatable, and predictable. They've got their teams on board, okay, and these systems have guardrails. So if they bring in someone else, they just pop them into the system, and literally your database starts to take on a life of its own. I try to get advisors dialed in, tuned into the incredible amount of gold that's in there. But what I find for the most part on advisors that are newer or just haven't figured that out yet is they don't know where to start, right? I don't even know how to dip my toe in the water. So for me, I'm going to make the argument that database management marketing, our prospects, our clients, our referral partners, is the single most important marketing that you do every year. And you need to learn more about it. However, you're going to do that from your FMO, IMO, BD, RIA, whoever. And I would spend significant time learning how to mine the gold out of your database. Okay, I'm going to jump in right now because for me, it all starts with setting up a culture. And I'm just going to review for a minute of the piece we talked about for referrals. And that's setting up a culture in the office. And by the way, referrals is where it all starts. Every advisory firm that we work with and do marketing for and do consulting, I don't care if they already have a referral strategy. We're going to put it on steroids, okay? Because referrals are the single most important lead you're ever going to get. I refer to them as the pen and mouth clients. What do I mean? They literally come in with a pen in their mouth and say, where do I sign? I saw what you did for John and Sally, and that's exactly what we want. So we want to generate as many of these as possible. So I will encourage you to go to the previous podcast to get that information. Okay. The next piece is annual reviews. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I find it utterly shocking how many bigger advisors I see that have a haphazard, non-dialed in annual review strategy. Or, because I've sat in on several reviews, it is a historical account of what took place in the year without really getting into any advanced planning for the year to come. Sort of the CPA versus the tax attorney. Right? The CPA takes what you did and they do the best possible tax return they can. The tax attorney looks at your tax return and says, here's how we're going to save you more money. So for me, the client review needs to be very proactive, not reactive. And you got to ask the right questions, and I'll get into that in a moment. And the questions that we're asking are to decipher whether or not they have additional assets that they can put into their retirement plan portfolio. And once you've deciphered that, then we make the argument, we don't argue, but we make the argument of why those dollars should be put with you into their retirement plan. And there's a lot of pieces of this, okay? And by the way, I would be remiss not to remind you that annual reviews, biannual reviews, quarterly reviews are a great time to get the referral. So with us, we have everything turnkey, ready to go. Postcards, slides, emails, scripts, all of it Okay. So we like to analyze what you're doing for annual reviews because, again, I find it fascinating that more advisors aren't dialing this in and how much money, in some cases, an obscene amount of money that they're leaving on the table. But here's the bigger conflict. If you're not uncovering these dollars, okay, maybe, just maybe, if you did, you could even put together a stronger retirement plan for your clients. Stronger retirement plan maybe equals more referrals. But I know in every great advisor's heart, they want to do the best possible thing that is out there for their clients, in particular, if you're a fiduciary. So what sort of questions are you asking? We have pages and pages of questions to decipher life events that have popped up. Every year is different, right? Has there been a change in your cash flow or budget? Are you taking distributions? Do you need to review your employee benefits? Do you have a family member that will be attending college soon? Do you have a new grandbaby? Have your investment goals changed? Et cetera, like dozens and dozens of questions to get them to open up. Because listen, the fact is they might have a ton of money sitting at the bank, lazy money that for whatever reason they haven't told you about. They may have come into an inheritance. They may have great Aunt Tilly passed away, left them $350,000. I don't know. There's such a multitude of scenarios. And not every one of your clients is going to have additional dollars, but some do. And I run into this issue. Oh, Mark, I get every dollar from them that they have. Do you? Do you really? Because maybe you don't. But then again, things change during the course of the year. Maybe you actually did get every dollar, okay, when they came on board, but now they have additional dollars for whatever reason. Okay, so something that we preach here is a 100-touch system through the year. 2 touches every week through 6 different ways to engage. Face-to-face, video, phone call, mail, email, digital, social media. Okay, the big ones for me, face-to-face, video, phone calls, and mailbox. What are we doing to keep our folks engaged with us through the year? And there's so many things that we can do. And I think it's important to point out, okay, that if you don't have a plan for this, then weeks go by and more weeks go by. And for whatever reason, what ends up happening is that top of mind awareness, which is so important. You might think, oh, they're my client, they're not going anywhere. But listen, attrition happens, okay? Somebody gets an invitation to Ruth's Chris to go see ABC Financial, and they're like, hey, honey, you want to go have a free steak and go check out an advisor? And that advisor makes an extremely compelling argument as to why they should come in and have a second set of eyes review their current retirement plan. And you know what happens? Sometimes they go. But to create that loyalty, we need top of mind awareness with our clients. And the way that we do that is touching them on a regular basis through those 6 different ways. Folks, when you do this correctly, your people don't go anywhere. They stay with you. So at the end here, I'm going to talk about, and I've just got pages and pages of here of things that you can do in those 6 different methods. Okay, I'm not going to get into all of it right now. I highly recommend setting up a 15-minute call so we can go through that. Again, face-to-face, pages of face-to-face, okay? Lumpy mail, regular mail, email, digital and social media, phone calls, mailbox, all of these different ideas. So many ideas, I guarantee you'll fall in love with some of them like, that's the smartest thing I ever heard of. Why are we not doing that here at XYZ Financial? All of these little touches matter through the course of the year. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, and I'm going to talk about this particular professor. His name is Robin Dunbar, okay? Robin Dunbar is a professor of evolutionary psychology at Oxford. Anyway, the premise of what he talks about is he believes that the evolutionary structure, stay with me, of social networks limits us to 150 meaningful relationships at a time, even with the rise of social media. What does that mean to us as marketers? It goes on to say that those relationships can be real or perceived. What does perceived mean? Do you have a television show that you like to watch, and there might be 4 or 5 characters, and you watch it on a regular basis? Those 5 characters become part of your 150. In your day-to-day with family, friends, coworker, neighbor, career, travel, all these things, you have all these people that are in your life. And unless you're maintaining regular contact with them, okay, they tend to fade. They tend to fade out. And new people come in, new one comes in, pushes 150 out to 151, and they're gone. Here's my point. The last thing we want to have happen is that you, as their financial advisor, become forgotten because you haven't reached out and maintained that top of mind awareness with your clients. It isn't hard. And that's another thing that I get from folks is, Mark, I don't have the time to do all these things. I say, whoa, 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 whoa. So many of these things that we do are turnkey and we help you with them. And we have third-party strategic partners that do all of this for you. So it's not like, oh gosh, how can I pay for this? And who in my team's going to do it and all that? We want you to be a financial advisor. We want your firm to be a financial advisory firm. We know that you can't get stuck in the minutia. Through years and years and years of doing this with our clients, we have found smart ways to make it turnkey for our advisors. Okay. Prospect nurturing. I know for a lot of people, this might have a different meaning, but I want to describe to you what that means to us at MEG, and it's really important. Hey, quick break from the show to tell you about something that could seriously change the game for your business. Today's episode is being brought to you by MEG. Since 2013, we've helped thousands of financial advisors hit new production levels, bring in more qualified leads, and finally take control of their marketing. Whether it's seminars, webinars, TV, radio, referral systems, database management, you name it, we do it, and we do it well. Now, here's the part I don't want you to miss. If you've ever felt like your marketing is scattered, you know what I mean, scattered. Or you just know you could be doing more, but you don't know where to start, let's talk. I'm offering a 15-minute Zoom call with me personally, not a team member, not someone else on my staff, me personally. We call it the $1 Million Zoom because that's the level of ideas and clarity people walk away with. There's no pressure, no hard pitch, and absolutely no cost. Just real, practical value packed into 15 minutes. So if you're even thinking about leveling up your marketing, go to markedwardgaffney.com. That's markedwardgaffney.com. Pick a time that works for you and let's chat. It might be the most profitable 15 minutes you spend this year. MEG, your all-in-one marketing powerhouse. All right, back to the show. At MEG, prospect nurturing is John and Mary have come into your office. They sat down with you at the conference table. You presented and they've said, oh my goodness, that's exactly what we want. But, however, we're not planning to retire for another year or 2 years, or our money's tied up for another 18 months or whatever it might be. They can't work with you in the traditional 3 months, 4 months, okay, or 2 months, depending on the type of firm that you are and what your sales cycle is. So they're getting moved out now. 6 months, 8 months, a year plus. I ask advisors point blank, what are you doing to keep that absolutely hot prospect at least lukewarm? I'll call it a year. Here's what I typically hear. Well, we'll re-engage in month 5, 6, 7, and start. I'm like, they're gone. They don't remember you. Life has gotten in the way, folks. Life has gotten in the way. They're gone. So what we show you, and for a lot of our clients, they have through the course of the year sat with multiple high net worth couples or individuals that they ain't going to close right away. So what are we going to do? And we show you tried and true methods, okay, of what to do to keep that prospect lukewarm until such time as they're ready. The other thing I would tell you, and when I ask this, and it's utterly brilliant from advisors, is we don't care that they're a year out. We're going to sign them up now, get things started now, knowing that we're not going to be able to move the money for a year. And I'm like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Get them signed up now. Get them in whatever you need to get them. They may still be with the other advisor. They still might be otherwhere, but you've got things rolling because they're hot for you right then. They want to move forward even though they can't move their money yet. You sign them up right then, okay? If not, for whatever reason, we want to make sure that we're putting appropriate touches on them, Okay. So at such time as they're ready to move, we can move them. The next piece for me is I like to tell my clients that, yo, daddy, lead greedy. I am lead greedy. I don't want any of the leads that you've put money, time, energy, all sorts of resources into creating to slip through the cracks, right? Now, this isn't something that I typically work on a lot because if we generate a lot of leads, I know that a lot of them aren't going to pop, but I will tell you that minimal effort here will get some of them to pop during the course of the year, and that will pay for whatever we had to do for this campaign. But what I like to do, and I have an example of it here right now, is I like to create a workflow, okay, of what it looks like. In this particular one, it's a client acquisition, client retention continuum. It's the life of a lead. What happens to a lead when it comes into your office? Okay, so you see on here, and I know it's small, okay, that these come in through referral marketing, TV show, TV commercial, seminar invites, and we just track the life of it. You will be shocked, confused, maybe even angry when you start mapping out the leads, where they go and where they don't go. This is a great exercise for you to do in your office with your team, is to track the life of a lead. I assure you right now, there isn't a company out there that if they don't track this, or if they're not tracking right now and they start to do it, let's put it this way. Let's make sure that day when you do it, you got a big cup of patience. Your cup of coffee is right here and your cup of patience is right here. But that's the beginning, right? Because once we've done the analysis, now we can put a prescription together on how we fix that. Okay. And then the last piece for me here is that you need to have a calendar. Okay. What are all the events we're doing? How much is it going to cost? Look at this. Look at this beautiful calendar. Okay. They have it mapped out for the full year, or we help them map out for the full year. Video, phone, email, letter, intimate events, social client events, educational public client events, acts of appreciation, advertising, social media website, automated, professional services. When they go out, what month, what day? You want to talk? They kill it. Kill it. This is a plan on how to kill it with your database management. Happy to send that to you as well. Just set up a 15-minute call. So at the end of the day, I would say, okay, calculate how much revenue you've gotten from your database. Okay. And then what did we do? And how do we need to double that in the next 12 months? I think you'll find that once you start breaking it down like that and looking at it, when we go to advisor offices, we break it down on a whiteboard. Okay, it is an exercise of writing and erasing so we can truly diagnose what the issue is. But more importantly, we can see what pops out as a real revenue earner. Okay, because when we go in there, we don't do all 5. We select 2 of the 5, and referral is always one of them. Okay, so that's what we like to do with our clients. And then the last piece I will tell you, and I love telling this story. I had a lot of laughs in their crew, didn't I? This is the last part. This is the last part. This isn't the last part. The second to last part. So I went into an office, fairly good size office, right? Of 15 million plus assets gathered in a calendar year. Maybe it was a little more than that. And they did no database management marketing. It was all new blood, like seminars, TV, etc. And I'm like, well, why don't you do any more database management? They're like, oh, we tried it. I go, okay, tell me more. They said, we did a referral event and we invited a bunch of people to come. The only people that came out were our clients. They didn't bring any referrals. We made no money. In fact, we lost quite a bit of money. I'm like, all right, what'd you do next? They're like, well, that was it. We tried it. It didn't work and we're out. And I thought to myself, and I didn't say it, but I wanted to say it. I go, you know what? I went to the gym one time. I spent 2 hours in there. And when I woke up the next day, I was the same weight and I had no new muscle. I'm like, that gym's ridiculous. I ain't doing that anymore. That is essentially the same thing. So I would tell you, you have to make a year-long effort for these to get traction. So little cartoon here, consistency wins the race. It's the tortoise and the hare. Who wins? The tortoise and the hare, right? Consistency wins the race. You ain't going to win them all, but I'm telling you right now, if you put these in place, listen to me. These things start getting traction. You start seeing money. And as I'm standing here right now, these things take on a life of their own in your database. Lowest investment, highest potential marketing we can do. When we do it well, huge margins, tons of production. I'll wrap up by saying, you need to learn how to do this, okay? Again, I would go to your FMO, IMO, BD, RIA, etc., and get whatever information you get from them and start slowly. Always start with referrals. Look for the most masterful program out there. Start there. Then start working in other areas, okay? You might already be doing some of these other things, but would you say that your campaign or your strategy is masterful? All right, that's how I'm going to wrap up Database Management Mastery, but I will remind you, the people out there, I have 3 incredible white papers on Database Management Mastery. The first one is the MEG Wow Box, which I talked about earlier. The second one is the MEG 100 Touch Relationship Marketing System. And the second one is what we call the Client Love Program. Millions of dollars for you come from these 3. Millones. $1 million. What do you got to lose, right? All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode of the Marketing Mastery Podcast. I hope you leave more equipped, more encouraged, and more empowered to build a practice that reflects excellence and honors your calling. At MEG, we believe your business can be a true beacon, one that leads with purpose, serves with heart, and grows with intention. Until next time, keep showing up boldly, serve your clients faithfully, and never forget the gifts that God placed in you were meant to multiply. Stay sharp, stay faithful, and as always, keep mastering your marketing. God bless.
You've been tuning in to the Advisor Marketing Mastery Podcast with Mark E. Gaffney. Until next time, command attention, own your narrative, and market with distinction.